What if I told you that, while the political noise grabs the headlines, the real transformation in Iraq is happening quietly behind the scenes? While debates, alliances, and election deadlocks dominate the media cycle, something much bigger, and potentially far more important, is moving forward without interruption. And it's happening inside Iraq's banking system. Recently, the governor of the Central Bank of Iraq announced that Iraq has a huge plan to transform the country's banking sector. At the same time, Kurdistan Region Prime Minister Masroor Barzani publicly praised the measures taken by Central Bank Governor Mustafa Ghalib Mukaif to improve and modernize the financial system. These are not casual comments, these are signals. And when you start connecting the dots, the bigger picture becomes clear. First, let's understand the context. Iraq has been facing prolonged political uncertainty, including election deadlocks and disputes between major blocs. In many countries, when political instability takes center stage, reforms slow down or freeze altogether. Government ministries become cautious. Investment stalls. Policy changes are delayed. But what makes this moment different is that despite all the political tension, the Central Bank of Iraq continues to push forward with structural reforms. This is important because the central bank operates as an independent institution. Its mandate is not political, it is economic stability, monetary policy, and financial modernization. And while politicians negotiate power-sharing arrangements, the central bank is focused on long-term economic infrastructure. When the governor speaks about a huge plan to transform the banking sector, that is not just about opening new bank branches or upgrading software. A transformation at this level means digitization, compliance with international banking standards, anti-money laundering enforcement, integration with global financial systems, modernization of payment systems, and rebuilding trust in the banking network, both domestically and internationally. For decades, Iraq's banking system has struggled with outdated infrastructure, limited electronic payment adoption, and heavy reliance on cash transactions. Many citizens historically avoided banks due to lack of confidence, past instability, or limited services. Reforming this environment requires deep structural changes, not cosmetic ones. Now, add another layer to this development. When Masroor Barzani praises the central bank's reforms, it signals alignment between Baghdad and the Kurdistan region on financial modernization. Historically, financial coordination between federal and regional authorities has not always been smooth. So public support for the central bank's measures sends a message of cooperation, especially in a period marked by political complexity. Why does this matter? Because banking reform is not just about banks. It is about the entire economy. A modern banking sector attracts foreign investment. It enables secure international trade. It increases transparency. It reduces corruption risks. It strengthens currency stability. And perhaps most importantly, it builds global confidence. International investors look at stability indicators. They ask, is the central bank independent? Are reforms consistent despite political change? Is the financial system aligned with global compliance standards? If the answer to these questions is yes, capital begins to flow. The fact that reforms are continuing even during an election deadlock demonstrates institutional maturity. It shows that Iraq's financial system is no longer entirely dependent on short-term political cycles. That kind of continuity is exactly what international markets want to see. There is also a domestic dimension. Banking transformation improves access to credit for small businesses. It supports entrepreneurship. It enables digital payments, reducing reliance on physical cash. It connects Iraq more efficiently to global remittance networks. And it strengthens oversight mechanisms that protect consumers and investors alike. Let's also consider the strategic timing. When reforms move quietly in the background, without dramatic announcements, it often means the work is serious and technical. Large-scale financial reform requires coordination with international advisors, compliance reviews, system upgrades, and policy adjustments. These are not social media moments. These are structural foundations, and foundations matter more than headlines. The phrase, huge plan, suggests multi phase reform. Likely components include upgrading banking technology, enhancing regulatory frameworks, improving transparency in currency management, the tightening controls against illicit financial flows, and aligning with international financial institutions' recommendations. We should not overlook the symbolism, either. Public recognition of the central bank's measures by a regional leader sends reassurance to citizens, investors, and international observers. It signals that reform is not isolated, it is supported across political lines. Another key point: when a central bank maintains forward momentum during political uncertainty, it strengthens credibility. Credibility in monetary policy is one of the strongest tools a country has. It stabilizes expectations. It reduces speculative pressure. It encourages long-term planning. If Iraq's banking sector successfully modernizes, the ripple effects will extend far beyond domestic transactions. It would position Iraq as a more reliable partner in regional trade. It would support oil revenue management transparency. It would help integrate Iraq more deeply into global financial markets. And here's the bigger picture: a transformation in banking is often a precursor to broader economic diversification. A functioning, transparent financial system is necessary for industrial growth, technology sectors, infrastructure projects, and foreign direct investment. Without strong banks, economic expansion remains limited. So while political debates continue in public view, the financial backbone of the country is being strengthened quietly. That's not accidental. That's strategic. The message here is clear: Iraq's economic institutions are showing resilience. The central bank is demonstrating independence. Regional leadership is signaling cooperation. And reforms are progressing regardless of electoral complications. This is not about hype. It is about structural movement. It is about long-term positioning. It is about preparing Iraq for a more integrated role in the global financial ecosystem. When future analysts look back at this period, they may not focus on the election stalemates. They may focus on the fact that during uncertainty, Iraq's banking system did not stand still. It evolved, and that is the real story. So while the headlines focus on politics, pay attention to the financial architecture being rebuilt in the background. Because in the end, economic strength, not political noise, is what determines a nation's trajectory. And right now, behind the scenes, Iraq's banking transformation appears to be accelerating.